You who are in the house, I welcome you. And for those of you who have friends that you would like to notify that we're going live at the top of the hour, please feel free to do so. It's important that you know that I'm here not as specifically as just related to automobiles, but I'm very interested in renewable, sustainable energy, and very interested in next technician, next challenge, which is a General Motors program, and other items that I'm going to be bringing up in about 25 seconds. So you just had a little preview of the show, darn little, but stick around. We're going to hear a little more Sheryl Crow, and then we're going to go into the theme, and then we're going to come back to you live. Here we go. Welcome to Bobby Likis Car Clinic. Hey, if you're looking for negative news and naysayers and daggers into the heart of President Obama, you've come to the wrong room. This is not a political forum, but I will share this with you. Smile and Dial is the name of today's program, and everything's going to be divine in '09 would be what I would love for you to understand and to maybe accept. And you say, well, that's pretty tough because things are not very good around the nation, around the globe financially, and that would be true. However, there is a way that that can be cured, and it's called optimism, and it's called go out and do something today yourself. Now, what does that mean? What can you do? With regard to your automobile, I can assure you that you can start by having an annual inspection performed on the very car that you drive so that you get an idea of what it needs to maintain its health over the next couple of years, unless you've decided to buy a new one. And if you have, there's not a better time in the history of automobile sales than currently to buy a new car. And if you want to buy a used one, that's a good thing too, because you'll save money with regard to buying a new one. But I'll tell you, the spread gets closer and closer. A new one with all the rebates, a used one, because used cars now are popular, so the price of used cars has risen. So as the used cars come up, new cars come down. The emphasis, and you're going to see the pendulum. We're on a pendulum, you know. We're going to see the changing of the guard and changing of the buying habits of the public. But if you decided that you're not going to buy a new car or use one, and you want to keep your car, then take your car to your local service shop and have them to perform an annual inspection. And you know what? They're probably not going to have such a program. We created our own in-house program. We took a pre-purchase vehicle inspection. I see that Jim Starman has welcome into the house, Jim. We're going to put you up, and we'll go ahead and turn the mic to Jim. But I'll tell you this before we do. Most shops, independent or new car, most any technician worth his or her salt could perform for you what we call in the industry a pre-purchase vehicle inspection. And a pre-purchase vehicle inspection is exactly what its name implies. It's a service that you go to a third party. If you're looking at a used car and you have this third party who is trained and has trained ears and eyes and smells and nose and senses, and is educated in the automotive world, and you ask them to take a look at the car and give you their overview of the automobile. Do not expect that they're going to diagnose everything that's wrong on the car, because it would cost you too much money. You just want $100 worth of their opinion, and we charge $90. But you want another pair of eyes to look at that car and let you know if the transmission's leaking, or if the engine's leaking, or if it's a valve cover, the belts need to be changed, or what have you, or if the battery is corroded, those sorts of things. Look at the tire tread, measure the depth of the tread. Don't just look at the tires. Measure the depth of the tread. You can do that easily enough. Just take a penny and hold it between your thumb and forefinger and look at Abe's head and put his head in the tread. And if his head, if any of his head sticks out, then that's less than 2/32 of an inch. And that means the tire has to be replaced. More importantly, when you measure tread, you see, here's the secrets. Here's the inside secrets. When you measure the tread of a tire, unless those tires have been recently rotated, and you can always look at the lug nuts to see, because, most unfortunately, most technicians, when they rotate tires, they leave the dirty fingerprints on the tires. So if you look at a car and it's all clean and you just assume that the tires have not been rotated, you can measure the tread depth and you can tell if the front end's out of alignment, because the center, the outside edge, the inside edge, you want to measure the tire in 3 different places: center and the inside and outside. And if it's worn on the inside on both front tires, you know that the car is squatting. You know that the suspension's out of alignment, and that needs to be corrected. So those are things that are easy for anyone in the business to look at and give you their opinion, and it saves you money, and it saves you heartburn of having to go through the expense of buying the car, writing the check, and then find out it needs struts and it needs shocks and it needs tie rod ends, and the battery went out on your wife. She couldn't go to church on Sunday, or she was at the grocery store and you were at work, and I mean, just it goes on and on and on. I'm talking about simple stuff here. I'm not talking about rocket science, but yet, after being in the business all my life, I should call automotive service rocket science, because it appears that people don't get it. It appears that our own industry doesn't get it, because we continue to preach that a 1995 quick lube, and I don't mean to use the word quick lube or jiffy lube, but that business model, in my opinion, doesn't work. Why? Because for $20 you cannot open the hood of a car. You most certainly in 10 minutes you cannot inspect an automobile properly, and I would defy anyone to challenge that. And if that's the case, and if a car is looked at every 3,000 or 5,000 miles, and somebody can look at the car in 10 minutes and give you an overview of the condition of that car, I want to know about it. In the meantime, Jim Starman, we're going to turn the mic to you. Welcome to Bobby Likis Car Clinic here on Paltalk.com.
Well, thank you, Bobby. It's a pleasure always to be in your company, and always enjoy the information I acquire as I listen to your program. Now, I would like to know, what do you think is going to turn around car sales? I mean, they advertise low or zero interest rates, big bonuses. Yet people can't buy. A lot of people can't buy because they don't work. What can we do to help the auto industries so they start to get sales, so they do survive?
That's a great question, and just last evening I had an opportunity to go to IHMC, which is the acronym for Institute for Human and Machine Cognition, and the guest speaker was Eileen Collins, who is one of voted 300 women, one of 300 women in the world that has changed the world. She's an astronaut, and she talked about a shuttle that, as you know, crashed and burned, and she was watching it as it was re-entering, and it disappeared, and she told the story, and the moral from the story was to listen, and I'll share that with you a little later. In fact, we need to get more people in the room, because this story is a story that no one knows, and it's about the space shuttle, and it's about the crash, and it's about how we try to make sure it doesn't happen again. Now, what does that have to do with your question? She said that what we learned there